everyone for joining in. This is Meeta Mathur. I am the founder and the chief coach at Big Ladder. Big Ladder is a coaching company. It designs, develops, and delivers coaching solutions to students as well as corporates. I'm on the purpose of training more than 1,000 women every year in the field of confidence building, communication, leadership, and entrepreneurship. So today I seek from all of you to come and help me and assist me in reaching this purpose. So once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone from various parts of the globe. Namaskar. For the last 2 days on the RISE platform, we have discussed various external factors to understand our sustainable goals and build our businesses so that we can sustain not only the planet, but our businesses as well. So it's imperative that we understand that the health of our businesses also depend on our health, our mind, our body, and our soul. I would love to know from all of you in the chat box, do you believe that the health of our businesses are very closely knit with our own health, with the health of the founder, the chairperson, and all the employees? I'm sure you agree with me. So in this session, let's investigate some symptoms that we perhaps are ignoring of our own health. Do you sometimes feel, or are you even aware of that non-stop chatter in your head? Does that little voice in your head raise its ugly head and convince you that you are not good enough, you're not qualified enough, or you're not prepared enough, you're not experienced enough, that you don't deserve this success, that all this success is because of some luck or some external factor? This chatter in our head convinces us that we will never win. We just don't have it in us. This voice, this chatter, it prevents us from taking courageous steps, courageous decisions. It stops us from grabbing great opportunities or apply for, favorable roles or try something different. It stops us from our spectacular success, both in our personal and professional life. It sabotages our success. It sabotages all that we could achieve, thus sabotaging our potential. I should know this because I've been there. I've been through this terribly freezing experience. I have wasted some precious, productive professional years sitting at the shore and dreaming of distant future, distant lands. This overwhelming overthinking, and it had become my limiting belief. So today, I want to take you to this journey, and we are going to dive and have a conversation around the 5 major archetypes of imposter syndrome that have been identified as self-sabotaging patterns. So, as I was telling you, that Big Ladder is into coaching, and for the past 4 years, we've been doing the same. And as a life coach and a certified NLP practitioner, I have met hundreds of young women, entrepreneurs, who have unknowingly succumbed to this kind of a syndrome, and they don't even know. Sometimes they're not even aware of what is happening to them. So it is important to come and talk about it so that we know or we understand the patterns or behaviors around it. You agree with me? So before we start, we may identify these archetypes. I think it's really important to understand that nothing is wrong with us. We are not fundamentally flawed. We are not broken. We don't need to be fixed. But as human beings, we on our journey, we've had experiences that created certain beliefs and patterns and behaviors that are causing harm not only to us, but to our businesses and people around us. It is creating chaos in our lives. You agree with me? Yes? So let's see if there are people here who have heard of imposter syndrome or who have experienced it or who have actually gone out and sought help in understanding this limiting belief. I would love to chat with you, and let's make it more interactive, and you could write it in the chat box and tell me if how many of you have actually heard of imposter syndrome. Because research says that almost 84% of entrepreneurs all over the world on this planet will experience some level of imposter syndrome in their journey. Working hard to appear confident, capable, we as entrepreneurs are always striving to do something better, bigger, greater. And inside, secretly, we are feeling the opposite. This creates a lot of stress and anxiety, depression, professional burnout. Of course, it leads to very low self-esteem. If you are experiencing self-doubt, you're not alone in this. As I already confessed with you, I was in a major quagmire. I was in that situation. And I still am, sometimes when I'm doing something new or embarking on a new chapter in my life, I still feel that surge of those negative feeling inside me. So just to give you a perspective, let me give you some examples of people we know. Like, for example, the Facebook CEO, Sheryl Sandberg, in her book, Lean In, she mentions that she felt self-doubt while at Harvard, and then when she became the head of Facebook. So just imagine somebody at that level can also feel like that. Princess Diana has famously said that she felt that she never deserved the fairy tale of living a princess life. Maya Angelou, the US civil rights activist, great author, Nobel laureate, Albert Einstein. Even in sports, Serena Williams has gone on record and said that she always felt lesser. She never had that feeling that she had achieved anything in her life. She felt lesser than her sister. In fact, the line that she used is that she felt that there were two Venuses in the house. She was always striving to be her sister. She always felt lesser in the family. So I'm sure you know people around you, or have you seen people around you who have had this low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and always doubting on whether they are enough. So before I start to talk about these 5 archetypes, I have 2 house rules. Okay. Firstly, let's normalize this self-doubt. It's not that we alone are facing this. There are hundreds and thousands of people all around this world who are going through the same thing. So let's normalize feeling that way. And the second rule is, if we can see ourselves through the lens of compassion and love, instead of shaming ourselves or those parts of us who feel that self-doubt, let's invite transformation. Let's seek change instead of shaming ourselves. Agreed? Everyone? Let's see some smileys in the chat box. Yes, thank you. So, okay. To begin at the major part of what is self-sabotage is that all of these feelings are actually sabotaging somehow our success. So that is what I meant by self-sabotaging. And this imposter syndrome, it is holding us back in our businesses, in our lives. So remember, when I talk about these archetypes, these are not boxes. They aren't labels. You don't need to feel pigeonholed by these imposter syndrome archetypes. Some people feel that they will fit into all the 5 archetypes. At least most of you would feel that at least you identify with the 2. So let's be very interactive and do let me know in the chat box, what are you feeling and do you actually resonate with any of these? I would love to have your feedback. So I have seen this so many times with my clients, in my community, and definitely within myself. And I resonate with so many of them. As I explain each archetypes, I will also try to explain the patterns and the behavior around these archetypes. So the first archetype is the archetype of the perfectionist. The perfectionist type is somebody who sets excessively high goals for themselves and have no room for mistakes or for failure. Now, this is so unrealistic, as you can see, because wherever you go, whatever you do, whatever you achieve, there you are bound to make some kind of a mistake. You can't be 100% successful all the time. As they say, perfectionist or perfectionism is an illusion. These people often feel distraught because anytime they embark on any entrepreneurial journey or try anything new, they rarely feel that satisfaction because of their high expectation. If they fail to reach that perfection, that high, they experience major self-doubt. They worry, they have stress, they feel that they are disappointing others and themselves also. You know that major log kya kahenge, papa kya kahenge, and all of this self-doubt suddenly starts to come into them that they are disappointing other people. So another indicator for these kind of people is that they try to control everything around them. They need to be in control. This person typically would feel that they have to do it all themselves. You know, do you know somebody or do you have a boss or a manager around you who checks on you every 15 minutes? A micromanager? You know, these are the bosses that we love to hate. So that is the typical behavior of this kind of imposter syndrome, the perfectionist. Their behavior, what happens now is that since they need to be perfect all the time, they get into a cycle of overwhelm, and it's very difficult for them to manage their energy, their emotions. You'll see them flying off into anger or a meltdown maybe. Also, the second kind of behavior is their cycle of procrastination. Does that sound ironical to you that a perfectionist is a procrastinator, a major procrastinator? You know why? Because they are avoiding failure. So what they do is they wait, they avoid, procrastinate every time just so that when they are perfect, only then they will start that work. You must have heard that classic, I will start swimming in the water only when I am perfect doing it on land. So they are waiting for that perfection. They are avoiding making a decision or taking a step forward simply because they are looking for or they're waiting for that perfection. Isn't that ironical? Yes? So this is the kind of pattern or behavior they have. Does that resonate with anyone? So the downside of being a perfectionist is that you a lot of opportunity is lost because we feel we are not perfect for it. And let's wait for the perfect time. Let's try to do more effort. And that opportunity is gone. Right? Yeah. So moving forward, let's look at the second archetype, and that is the superhuman. Yes. So many entrepreneurs I have seen around me have fallen for this superhuman imposter syndrome archetype. These people consistently push themselves to work harder, faster, better, or long hours to measure up to an ideal that they have created in their head. Or maybe those that they have seen in their community, or nowadays online on Instagram or Facebook or maybe LinkedIn. They have created a kind of an image of people, all the social media, they are very carefully curated images, but they fall for this and they feel that they need a life like that. So working hard, becoming 10x better is a good thing. I'm not saying that being a super person is not a good thing. I'm saying it is a very good thing. But the truth is, underneath what appears to be this amazing work ethics are a bunch of insecurities. It's their need to be all, do all, and be there for everyone at all the time. Isn't it said that you can't please everyone all of the time? What happens is that when they are trying to be that super mom, super wife, super daughter, super employee, super boss, they are super neglecting themselves. It takes a toll on how you nourish your energy, how you take care of your own mental health. So self-sabotaging pattern for these kind of people will typically look like this. They take pride in being someone who's very successful. Yes, they are very busy and they have all sort of things going on all fronts. So typically, they lack boundaries. Their clients, their employees, their children, their families, they have access to these kind of people all the time. Their energies, 100% energies are spent looking after everybody. You will see these people, they're checking their mobile notifications every few minutes, their emails. They feel that they have to answer everyone immediately and with speed and with accuracy. Just to show that how super efficient people they are. Deep down, they have a big desire to feel wanted and loved. These are the people who have a great difficulty in saying no. They have they they cannot deny other people's demands. You could say they are people pleasers, right? So what happens with these people is they feel so much resentment, frustration, exhaustion, lack of time. They feel burnout and they are crying for time. They lack time and they end up super neglecting their own needs. How many times have you seen women around you? They get up at the crack of dawn and work throughout the day towards midnight to be everything to everyone. Yes, these are the people who have this. They are sabotaging their success because they have spread out their energy so much for everyone that they end up neglecting or sabotaging their own successes and their own needs and their own mental health. So shall we move towards the third type? Are we ready to move towards the third type? Okay then. So the third type, the third archetype would be the natural genius. So you would notice that all the imposter syndrome or this sabotaging thing comes to those people who are fairly successful. So that is the irony of it. They have reached a success point, yet they are sabotaging their more growth or a better achievement. Isn't that so strange? So this natural genius type is the person who judges their competence based upon how easy they easily they can accomplish things or how fast they are in doing things. So on the positive side, these people, these natural geniuses, they are confident, they are intelligent. But when it takes them longer to master or to understand, they usually get hit with waves of shame, feeling of unworthiness, inadequate. They feel that if they are not able to do certain things easily, they fear loss of credibility. Yes? So their internal bars are impossibly high, just like the perfectionists that we have talked of earlier, isn't it? So the moment they are not able to do something quickly or efficiently, they immediately go into a state of panic or dejection, or they feel their energy being depleted. You know what? We need to learn to take radical responsibility over who we are. Even at times, we can get things wrong, and maybe we cannot do it at the first try. Yes? So the room for failure or room for mistake, we need to learn this very, very important ability that yes, sooner or later, even we as natural geniuses or perfectionists or superhuman beings, we can make mistakes. Yeah. So this was one of the types that I resonated with a lot. And if you're someone who resonates with this genius imposter syndrome type, your pattern might show up in the middle of a launch. Recently, I was helping an entrepreneur launch her first showroom after the pandemic. And she had a full blown panic attack just the night prior to the launch. So when things are not going our way, when things get delayed, or when there are things that do not add up, we think the way we want them to, we automatically assume that it's going to fail. We forecast its failure. And we feel that nobody is going to invest in our ideas, nobody is going to fund us, and we are not going to get any offers, or we're not going to get any customers or clients, which just messes up with our energy and makes it so difficult for us to enjoy what we are doing. So instead of celebrating the success of having a showroom, we start to feel panic that nothing good is going to come out of this experiment. You start to question your entire business. You start to question yourself. You start to wonder if you really have what it takes. So, and that leads to a sense of defeat. So another example, when we are giving a presentation, so you fear the Q&A session, that people will question you and you will not be able to answer. And thus, people will know that you are not the genius or the expert or the knowledgeable person that you have shown yourself to be. You lose credibility. You will see this very often. People don't raise their hands when we ask them, okay, ask a question. In a room of 5, in a room of 50, or in a room of 500, there are very few people who raise their hands and ask questions. They feel that they will be shown as people who do not know much or people who are not intelligent enough. So again, in these experiences, there's a part of us that wants to be seen, wants to be heard, wants to be needed, appreciated, acknowledged. But in the end, what do? We end up abandoning ourselves in this entire process. Yeah? Do you feel that you have done this sometime with yourself? Already forecasting that things may not move your way just because something small has gone wrong? Yes? Okay. With that, let's move to the fourth type. Yes? And the fourth type is the soloist. This is the imposter syndrome that I have resonated with the most and for the longest of time. I feel like I experienced this so much in my life, and especially in my business of Big Ladder. Because I was going solo. I was a solo entrepreneur here. And I felt that I had to do it all alone. For me, asking for help made me feel like a weak person or a fraud. For me, self-worth comes from how much more I can do, how much more productive I can be. And I don't need to ask for anybody's help. I feel very uncomfortable. I felt very uncomfortable asking for any kind of assistance from anybody. So always rejecting this assistance from others, viewing asking for help as a proof that I'm not smart enough or I'm not capable enough, or maybe I cannot coach other people. So all of this behavior, all of this doubt, as the name suggests, as a soloist, is a person who wants to go all alone. They need to do it all on their own. Maybe to prove to oneself or maybe to prove to others, I don't know, but they just have a feeling that if they outsource things to other people or they delegate things to other people or they ask for help, they are showing that they are not capable enough. This is their limiting belief. Sometimes, I've seen entrepreneurs, they do not ask for help, they do not ask for mentors or coaches, because deep down, they feel that they should know and they have to do it all alone. But deep down, they know that they need help. They will thrive if they have someone to lean on. But they just resist the urge. They push out all the kind of help that is available. Even working in a team becomes very, very difficult for them. So have you noticed any such behavior around you? Have you noticed that instead of celebrating the work that you have done already, you fret that you could have done more? You feel that you could have done more or you could have done better? Or perhaps you need help. You know that you desire and thrive in receiving support. But instead of investing in a co-founder or going for a collab or asking a team member, or even, as I said earlier, employing a mentor or a coach to help you, to guide you, to assist you, you continually fall into a trap of trying to doing it all on your own. The simple things like delegating becomes difficult to you. This is me. This is all me, soloist. I have been a soloist for so long that it stresses me. It makes me feel very anxious when I ask my counterpart or I ask my partner to do a certain thing. I'm so sure that those things are never going to happen. Okay. So, although we have the confidence within ourselves of doing it our way, but all of this being a soloist leaves you very little time. You will agree with me, all of you out there, that we all have a certain amount of time, a certain amount of resources available with us. And if we are going to do all by ourselves, we are never going to be able to scale up or to increase or improve our businesses, since we are not seeking other people's opinions, we are not asking for other people's assistance, we are not going in for a collab or a co-founder. It is very, and not creating a team. So how do you think we are ever going to scale up in our businesses? So the goal is to break that loop when we are looking at healing and releasing this type of syndrome. We at Big Ladder want you to get into that fulfillment, into that satisfaction, that sense of wholeness or healing, because that's a birthright, right? So all of our ideas and all of our efforts are wasted. Indeed, we are self-sabotaging our own growth and potential. Yes? So it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind, how we are going to grow and how we are going to improve ourselves. So let's quickly dive into the fifth type, the final type, and that is the expert. So when I say that I'm talking of the 5 archetypes, these are in the field of mental health. These are the identified 5, but it is not a it is not an exhaustive list. You could add more, or you could see yourself in being 2 or 3 kinds of people. And this is all very interconnected. But just to make this a little more easier for us to understand, for the layperson, for business people to understand what we are going through, to use layman's language, to understand our limiting beliefs, we have just tried to create 5 archetypes, right? So let's talk of this one, is the expert. As you have seen, there was the natural genius, then there was the perfectionist, and now here is the expert. This person measures intelligence based on what and how much they know. They are the ones who have a need to know more than everybody else, which is in a way very good thing. Of course, if you have good knowledge, if you have more knowledge than other people in the room, it is a very good thing. But these experts are always struggling with the feeling that they never know enough. When you know, that is confidence, right? But when you know that maybe, and you are second guessing yourself, you are doubting yourself that your knowledge may not be enough. They are afraid of being exposed as inexperienced, as frauds, or maybe not smart enough. That is their basic fear that restricts them from grabbing great opportunities. So have you found yourself always feeling like that you need to learn more? Or have you found yourself that you're not satisfied with how much knowledge you already have? You are unable to leverage what you already know just so that you are scared that maybe you don't know enough? The reality is you are a highly skilled person, highly knowledgeable person, but you were struggling with owning and celebrating your expertise. So their behavior is very typical. You could have seen so many of these people around you, that instead of creating an offer based on what you already know, you think that you need to learn more before you even pitch yourself in front of investors, in front of venture capitalists, or even in front of your team, just to pitch your own idea. It is difficult for you. So you would have seen this when we apply for a job. We feel we don't have the right degree, or maybe we don't have the right experience. So the need to be an expert, to feel deserving to get that opportunity, or maybe that fabulous role, there is always a deep desire to know more, which is a good thing, of course, but the fear is the negative thing. These are the people who do not, or who would not, you will not see them celebrating their achievements. Whatever they do, however much they win, or whatever they have gone through in life, they always feel that it's not enough, that they need to do more. They have so much more to do. What it actually does to our mind is that it strips you of the present moment. The pleasure is in the present moment. And this person is constantly running to the end of the rainbow. And if you are feeling कि इस चीज में मेरी एक्सपर्टीज नहीं है, एक और नुकसान होता है, और वो बहुत बड़ा नुकसान ये है कि वी फेल टू try out new things. We fail to step into the unknown, venture into something that we have not done before. Again, you can't be an expert of everything, everywhere around you. And this chasing for the next big thing does not allow you to celebrate what you already have. And as I said earlier, the happiness is in the present moment. Messes up with your mind. It messes up with your positive energies. It scares the people around you, your team, your family, your friends. They also, when you're not celebrating things, or when you're not sharing with them, it scares them also. So these are all really important things to consider when you're thinking up of building or scaling up your businesses from a place of sustainability. So if you're not prioritizing your visible form of idea, your thought, if you're not prioritizing your mindset, your energy, your business isn't sustainable. It's just not. More and more people have awakened to the fact that there are tons of successful people and those who have created huge businesses, only to find that their business is not sustainable because how they treat themselves is not sustainable. All of these limiting beliefs that we have, or all of these self-doubts or lack of confidence that we have, who ends up suffering? Of course we do. Of course we do, because we are not able to achieve our potential. But also you will see in your business that your client care, how you manage your team, how you work with your employees, they go through all of this. People who have these self-sabotaging behaviors, they have trouble in their personal lives also, with their spouse, with their children, with their parents, friends. They lose out on so much because they are chasing numbers instead of actually embodying abundance, embodying their worth, embodying their true essence. So, friends, the reality is that when you're not prioritizing your mindset, your energy, you are eventually going to burn out if you have not already. So, if you know this or understand this negative chatter in your head, if you go through your daily activities with a lot of stress, anxiety, you need to wake up and try to figure it out, or maybe take the help of certain people around you who can help you through it. If not, you will hate the very business you worked so hard for. And you'll potentially even risk sabotaging not only your relationship with yourself, but with others as well, your team, your family. And so, as an expert, as helping entrepreneurs, I've been doing it for the 4 years now. Embody your true essence, reprogram your subconscious body and mind for success, master the energetics of your business. This is very important. I know this firsthand how important this work is, because I have been working with so many people, and as I said earlier, confessed earlier, that I have gone through all of this. So I personally believe that everybody's journey in returning to wholeness or healing looks different. Everybody is on a different journey. We respect your universe. We respect where you come from. We respect your uh, experiences, your circle. But your inner work needs to be done before we can expect any kind of exterior excellence. This is the type of work that allows you to experience more, accomplish more, takes you beyond your wildest dreams, because you end up in an energy state of allowing yourself to go to that level. So, these are the 5 archetypes that have been identified by various scientists, and in this realm of talking about mind, energies, in talking about the kind of success that we can achieve through our inner work. This is what I'm all about. Meeta Mathur here again from Big Ladder. And I invite you, if there is any questions that you would like to ask me, if there is something that we can talk about. So, okay, I go to Q&A session. Yes. So if you have any questions, please feel free to talk about it, and we can go and discuss it more. Although we have limited time left with us, I hope I've been able to take you on a journey and make you feel comfortable with the inner chatter that we have. So as I said, the ground rules are: let's make our self-doubt very, very normal. And let's treat ourselves with the love and compassion that we give out to others. We need to give it to ourselves as well. And we need to be very, very supportive of who we are, what we do, celebrate ourselves. So could any of the people from Rise help me with the Q&A? If there are any questions? No questions asked so far. Are there any questions, people? Hello. Can we see in the chat if there are any people who can? Triza, Deepak. No questions here. Okay, not really. Mamta says there aren't any questions. So, okay, then I have a question for you. Any of you felt that you resonate or resemble any of the archetypes that we discussed so far? It was a very introspective session. Mamta says, thank you so much. Yes, the idea is that we can go deep down and see if we resemble with any of the patterns or behaviors. And Aparna Lakshmi Singh says, a person could be a combination of these. Yes, at certain points, I have felt myself to be a soloist, sometimes a perfectionist, and sometimes I have felt like an expert where I have to know more. Uh, have you ever felt, Aparnaji, that you have not uh, attempted or gone and asked a question to someone simply because you felt that this is not the perfect time, or maybe you are not in the position, or maybe you do not have that much knowledge? So, whenever we are doubting ourselves, whenever we are second guessing ourselves, whenever we are not allowing ourselves to take the opportunities available simply because of a certain fear or insecurity within ourselves, that is when we have this kind of a behavior. Again, as I said, as a superhuman, we women especially, I don't know, Aparnaji, if you also relate with this, uh, at some point of time, we always feel that we are not a very good mom, or maybe we are not a good daughter or a good wife because we have certain other activities going around us and we're not able to give that much time or attention to those people. And we feel depleted, we feel a negative energy. Nobody can be so many things to so many people all the time, right? So that pattern we need to identify. Mamta ji is saying many times the behavior and responses depend on the situation also. Definitely, we are human beings on a journey, and we are a product of all of those experiences and exposures that we experience on our journey. And when you see all of these five archetypes, many life coaches will not tell you this one thing, that all of these insecurities or fears, they stem out of some kind of experiences that we have had in the past as a child, or maybe even when we grow up, somebody's pointed out कि आप ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हो, लोग क्या कहेंगे, or maybe someone has said कि you have not done that kind of thing, when you have faced certain kind of let's say negative comments. Those things, those all of those things, they make their homes in our head, and soon we make that a pattern of behavior. Oh, yes, Aparnaji. That's why I talked about their patterns and their behaviors, because what happens is, uh, if we don't have it, but we see it in people around us, maybe our spouse, a better half, or our bosses, we can immediately understand what are their insecurities or what are those things that they feel very important. Like, for example, if you have a boss and his need is to be an expert at all point of time, then you know that you have to give him that kind of space or that kind of information that will boost his that insecurity, that will help him move from that insecurity. And especially, it is very important to know that in your children. So there are many women in this session. So I will talk as a mom also, is that when you see these kind of insecurities or these kind of stress levels or happening with your own children, you can immediately catch it and very beautifully, politely, take them through it and increase their self-esteem, or maybe help them stop that chatter in their head. All of them, Aparnaji, all of them. All of these are a deep set patriarchal conditioning of women and men. I'm not just saying patriarchal conditioning, I'm just saying all of these, as an NLP expert, all of these, our behaviors, are the way we are seen by the external world, depends on how we have been programmed. How we have been programmed. How we have been programmed is so many things around us: our socio political, legal, education, our background, our parents. Like, for example, if we felt that our parents were very hardworking and they worked, like, say, 20 hours a day. So if you are working less, maybe you're working 10 to 12 hours a day, then you will have that self doubt, maybe that you are not doing enough. If your parents said that, क्या पैसे पेड़ पे नहीं उगते हैं, I'm sure this is one of those lines, you see that in many Indian families. So you will always have that self limiting belief that, yes, I have to do more to earn more. Is a thought always creeps. Yes, self doubt is a thought that always, see, simple example: when you get up in the morning and you look at the mirror and you feel that you are not looking your best self, or your hair is not good, or your skin is not feeling proper, or you're not feeling that kind of energy, all of these are self doubts. There's been research, and many papers have been published on this, is that we get about 80,000 thoughts in a day. Fortunately, 60,000 are repetitive thoughts, but the 20,000 fresh thoughts that we get are mostly negative. And this negative thought that keeps coming to us is, Aparnaji, because our mind is built for survival. Our mind is built for survival, which means that if we go to the Stone Age, imagine you are coming out of your cave. What is your first thought? If you're in that prehistoric time, you live in a cave, all surrounded with jungles and ferocious animals and cannibals and tribes. What is your first thought when you come out of the cave? Do you see the beautiful sunrise and say, wow, what a beautiful sunrise? Or your first thought is, let me see if there is a lion lurking somewhere. Maybe let me see if there are some cannibals out there trying to eat me. Let me try to save my own children. So our mind is built for survival. So when we are trying to survive in the midst of everything, although of course we now live in an age where it is not a jungle, but business is a corporate jungle, right? So we are trying to see, always trying to see the negative around us. Okay. And always trying to equip ourselves in a way that we can fight it. But that's a very good thing. If you're trying to equip yourself with much expertise, more knowledge, more skills, 100% I'm with you. But the lack of it is causing fear, or is making you distraught, or creating stress. That needs to be dealt with. Reason being, if we are not dealing with this stress now, it is going to, spiral into such a big elephant later on that you will not be able to push it out of the room. You'll agree with me that little, small worry, end of the day, becomes so big that your blood pressure shoots up, your entire physiology is messed up. Hence your behavior. So I always say this in a very simplistic manner when we talk neuro-linguistic programming, is if we can govern or master or if not master, at least modulate or regulate our thoughts, because our thoughts leads to a lot of chemicals in our brain. You've all heard of dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin, endorphins. These are the good hormones. And then there are the negative hormones, cortisols and all, which shoots up our anxiety. So our thoughts will do this thing in our brain, release our chemicals. This will result in a messed up physiology. And our physiology, our behavior will depend on our physiology. And our outcomes or results will depend on our behavior or the action that we take. So for me, the RISE platform, especially Teresa and Karen, have given me this opportunity to talk of this, because eventually all of us are striving for more success, for more meaningful roles, for being doing something in our lifetime on this planet. When we are striving for this success, let's be aware of what is stopping our success. And when we are aware and acknowledge that there may be something wrong in the way we think and the way we perform or do things, we can take positive actions. You'll agree with me, right? So only our awareness will lead us to a better and fuller life. With this, I thank everyone on the today who have been with me on this 1 hour journey. And I hope and I'm sure you will all benefit from knowing at least these 5 archetypes. And as ma'am really said, that yes, this was a journey in introspection, and we can think about it. I'm always there at a phone call, or maybe you could write me an email. So I have a virtual booth on this RISE platform, and you can also chat with me on this platform, and we can talk about it in a closed room also. So thank you so much for being here with us, and all the best, and see you in the next session.